But anywho, we're gonna move on because I feel like this next topic was something that you brought on, and I thought it was a very, very valid point. So moving on, you were talking earlier, uh, if MJF should be booked the way that he's been booked as a babyface during his AEW run. So I kind of wanted you to touch on that because I think that this was something that was, a very, very interesting point, and I think that it's going to be very, very well received when it's coming from your perspective.
Thought I muted the mic over here. I muted myself over there. Bet I'm back, people. Okay, yeah. So as I'm watching this MJF and Mox feud, um, me as a fan when I'm watching, and I noticed this a lot from other fans that were watching MJF, we love and appreciate MJF. And I think in the very beginning with him having that baby face like promo, we were very much behind it. But a lot of us are starting to think that it's coming off very forced, very choreographed. And
Hmm.
as per a few sources, it was said to be that Chris Jericho was the person that was behind the suggestion of MJF taking a detour from being a heel and booking himself as a babyface. And I noticed that. I noticed that while I was watching the show that it did feel like a babyface Jericho talking. And I think that's why I was a little bit off put. So then this made me think to myself the possible outcomes for Saturday. And I guess I'm spoiling my own predictions with it. Because I think there's probably like two or three ways that they could go about this. I was wondering, like, what if they decide to have him win? Let's say hypothetically he wins and he wins as a babyface. Then I was wondering then what? Does he come back onto the show next week and then he cuts a heel like promo and then Regal aligns himself like Regal comes out with Mox and they bicker a bit and then we have a heel turn happen where Regal does I don't know, kicks low blows or kicks Mox in the nuts or whatever. So whatever heel gibbers he used to do. And then aligns himself with MJF and then we just make MJF heel all along and he was just putting up like a stick and he was just putting up a front. But I was also wondering like what if they wanted to continue him being a baby face? What is the why and what is the investment in him being a baby face? And do you think it's something that they could keep up with? Because he's such
Mm.
like a natural heel. Like it just feels right. It would feel more right if honestly he lost as a baby face, got pissed off because it's just like, well, me cheating got me way ahead. I didn't have to lose myself, lose my character, and expose myself in front of all these fucking peasants, you know? And it becomes more about, I don't even want to win this effing title. I almost want to beat Williams' ass. Because William was a person that broke me. Like you broke me into being the most vulnerable person, the most vulnerable layer of myself in front of all these people who didn't deserve to see this of me. And it's just like now I lost and I'm out for blood. And he could go ahead and try to like go for the title again as a heel and do all the chicken shit, evil, maniacal things he was doing before to get over. And I don't think William Regal could wrestle. I think that might rule out that idea. If he could wrestle, that would be insane. I wouldn't be shocked only because there's a lot of elderly. All right, there's a lot of elderly that's appearing on both shows between Raw and AEW. It would not
Right.
shock me if this were to turn into an angle where it's just like I don't care about the belt anymore. I know who I am. I'm MJF, motherfucker. Okay? And you just made me lose a piece of myself trying to prove something to you. I don't want that belt. I want your old raggedy ass. That would be really intriguing if Regal could possibly wrestle, even if it's for a short match and he's safe on the bumps or whatever. I feel like those are three possible outcomes that they could do with MJF. So my two questions, I guess, to you is how do you feel about him being a babyface if he was a babyface prolonged past this title match? And how do you think AEW wants to move forward with this booking decision on Saturday on who's going to go over and then what's going to happen with MJF as far as being a face or a heel? So it was 3-1.
So I think for starters, I think that MJF is going to win this Saturday. I'll start off with that. I think that the
Yeah.
next thing to kind of keep in mind is I think that the train of thought is you can't be a heel if people are cheering you. And I feel like MJF is just like, listen, if people are cheering, I feel like people are cheering MJF because he's good at what he does. But it's like it's hard to be a legitimate heel when people like you. And so it's one of those things where it's like, well, if it works, it works. So I feel like he'll ride this little babyface thing out until he's getting booed again, and then he'll be the guy that gets booed. But it's just like it's one of those things that there's so many people that know the ins and outs of what's been happening in AEW that it's hard not to cheer for MJF, right? Between the whole Punk post show thing and between MJF making it known that he wasn't paid as much as he should be paid, between that and let's like the track record of good things that MJF has done in this company, it's like it's hard for people to be like, I hate that guy. So it's like they're gonna let this babyface thing run out until he becomes the most hated guy in the room again. And to be honest, I think it works for now. Like it's one of those things where it's just like, well, um, like it is what it is. They're just gonna ride it out because right now, if you if you know if MJF is MJF, like it works. You know what I'm saying? Like even if he was the biggest heel in the world, he's gonna be going into New Jersey. That's not that far away from Long Island. Like that's by his hometown. He's gonna get the hometown pop either way. So it's like you might as well just let it ride out. Um, but yeah, like that's I'm gonna save my predictions for my predictions. But I think that as far as the trajectory of MJF, it's like he's just gonna ride it out, and I think that it's working. People are responding well to it because he's still doing like heelish things. He's still taking jabs at people's hometowns and stuff like that, and you know what I'm saying. So I think that they're just gonna let this ride out. But speaking of that, let's just go into our full gear. Wait, you look like you're about to say something. Nah, you
I'm
good?
good. I'm good.
Straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.